Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cliff again, and I'm here to walk you through an assignment having to do with days on hand inventory management assignment. Some of you that are in Management 3620 supply chain operations probably have a writing assignment associated with this. So this ought to help you at least with the Excel portion, with the analysis portion of that assignment. So what we're trying to do here today is take a look at two different companies, but similar companies in the same type of industry, and determine how many days worth of inventory or days on hand each company holds. So you can see here from the spreadsheet, we're going to look at Dell, and I actually have a Lenovo laptop that I'm working on. So that's we're going to compare Dell and Lenovo, two computer companies. And just to refresh your memory, days on hand tells us the amount of inventory that we have, each one of these companies, the amount of inventory that they're holding on their floor at any given time. How long would it last if they didn't get in replenishments, but they kept selling at the same rate they were selling them? So, if we think about in a grocery store, days on hand, if I was looking at Twinkies and I look on the shelf and I see how many Twinkies are sitting there, and I was to keep selling them at the rate I'm selling them, how many days worth of Twinkies are on the shelf? And it should be fairly intuitive. I'd really like that number to be low. I really don't want a lot of days worth of Twinkies. I don't want a days on hand, a high number on Twinkies, because I want my Twinkies fresh. And same is true even for non-perishable items. So even in a computer company, we'd like to have a low days on hand because there's a lot of money tied up in that inventory, and there's always risk that that inventory will become obsolete, whether it's a Twinkie or whether it's a computer. If I got too many days worth of computers on hand, I run the risk that they're going to become obsolete. A new version is going to come out, and just got a lot of money tied up in that. So a couple formulas over here on the right-hand side that we need to remember. COGS, cost of goods sold. Probably remember that for your principles of accounting class. It's the annual cost of goods sold. Or cost of revenue. Sometimes companies will call it cost of revenue. And remember, we find that in the income statement. It's just how much money we spend on the inventory that we're going to turn around and resell. And then for this assignment, we're going to calculate a daily cost of goods sold. So it's a little bit different. It's just that annual cost of goods sold that we get off the income statement divided by 365, or however many working days there are for your company. And that tells us for a given day, each day, how many dollars worth of inventory are we selling. And that's important because that'll tell us how long the inventory that we have is going to last. Then our inventory level, that's our physical inventory value, and we'll find that off the balance sheet. And then, of course, our days on hand calculation is going to be our inventory level, how many dollars worth of stuff do we have, divided by our daily cost of goods sold, how many dollars worth of stuff do we sell each day, and that'll tell us how many days worth of inventory that we have. So let's get started. We're going to look at Dell and Lenovo again. And first thing we need to do is get this annual cost of revenue. I got a little note here that tells me, oh, go to the income statement and find that. So for an income statement, I'm going to look at Yahoo Finance. And it looks like we're set up on Ford Motor Company. We don't want Ford. We want to look at Dell. So there's Dell Technology. Okay, so let's see. We got our income statement for Dell. And I've already taken a look at the Lenovo, and they only have 2017 numbers. So what we're going to do is work with 2017 because Dell actually has 2018 numbers. But since Lenovo only has 2017 numbers, we'll stick with the 2017 data. So we've got to be careful here when we look at 2017 cost of revenue. And it looks like it's $48 million. And actually, that number seems real low. And it is real low because look up here, all numbers are in thousands. So that means we need to add 3 zeros to this number. So our cost of revenue, I'm going to just copy that. Our annual cost of revenue for Dell, and then add 3 zeros, is actually $48 billion. And I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so we can actually see it. All right, so $48 billion in revenue. And then if I want to know what was their daily cost of revenue, I'll just take the annual cost and divide by 365. So that tells me that every single day Dell sells $133 million worth of computer parts. That's pretty impressive when you think about that for a day. Let's go ahead while we're in Dell. Let's get their inventory level. So we're not going to find that on the income statement. We got to go over to the balance sheet. Again, we're going to use 2017 numbers, and we want our inventory level. So there we go. Numbers are in thousands still. So we've got to add 3 zeros to this number. And we've got the little small font again. Let's just, since we're dealing with money here, let's make sure that we're in currency and no decimal places. And we'll go ahead and format anything that's got dollars. Make them look like dollars here. Don't need any cents to it. So let's take a look and see what Lenovo's got. So we need to switch companies now. And we see that Lenovo only has 2017 numbers, so I'm going to work backwards just a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take their inventory level first, since that's what's up. Whoops. And I need to go get their cost of goods sold, which again isn't going to be on the balance sheet, but I will be able to find it over here in cost of revenue. And this is our annual cost of revenue. Got to remember to add those 3 zeros. So Dell did a little bit more in terms of sales, 48 billion for the year, Lenovo 36 billion. I'm going to copy that formula for the daily cost of goods sold though. Okay, so I've got daily cost of revenue or daily cost of goods sold, and I got inventory for each company. So I can just look over here, remind myself of my formula. My days on hand is whatever my inventory level is divided by that daily cost of goods sold. So it's my inventory level divided by my daily cost of goods sold. And same thing for Lenovo. And let's see what it tells us. It tells me that Dell is holding 19 days worth of inventory. So at any given time, Dell has 19 days worth of computers and computer parts sitting on their shelves or in their distribution centers, in their warehouses, any inventory that they own that's kind of on their books. And Lenovo's got 27 days worth of inventory sitting on their shelves or in their distribution centers on their books. So obviously, having more days worth of inventory is more expensive. So what we really might like to think about is how low would Lenovo have to take their inventory down in order to match Dell? Because Dell's got the better days on hand. 19 is better than 27. We're not going to change our annual cost of revenue or daily cost of revenue. We're not changing how much we sell. We're just trying to figure out how much would we have to drop our inventory level in order to match that 19 days. So we can kind of think about rearranging the formula up here where we've got days on hand equals inventory divided by daily cost of goods sold. If I rearrange it, it would just say inventory is days on hand times the daily cost of goods sold. But for Lenovo, I want them to have this 19.0 days on hand. So I say I want 19 days on hand times whatever their daily cost of goods sold is, or daily revenue. And that would tell me that instead of $2,794,000,000 worth of inventory, that Lenovo would have to get their inventory down to $1,925,000,000 worth of inventory. So they'd have to drop their inventory level, keep the same level of sales, but hold less inventory when they do that. And look at another video and read in the book. We can talk about ways that you can do that. It has to do with better forecasting, better relationships with suppliers. So how much reduction in inventory would that be? Well, let's see. How much are we actually dropping? If we want to have 1,900,000,000, but actually right now we're holding almost 2.8, that means Lenovo would have to drop their inventory by $868 million, hold $868 million less worth of computers and computer parts on their shelves and on those distribution centers. And then a yearly savings, look like I already had a formula sitting in there, yearly savings due to reduction. So if they were actually able to drop their inventory by $868 million, what would that save them? So let's take a look and see. If we assume 25% per year, which is probably a good rule of thumb, what does it cost to hold inventory? I'd just take 25% times this inventory reduction number, and that would tell me every year I would save, or Lenovo would save, $217 million worth of holding cost. So that might be the insurance that they have to pay on all this inventory. It might be taxes that they have to pay on this inventory. It might be the cost of the money that they have tied up in the inventory. They're not getting to use that money to invest it in something else. It might be the handling costs. They're having to move this stuff from one place to another. So huge savings that they could realize if they were able to match the days on hand that Dell has, only holding 19 days, rather than what they currently do, holding 27 days. So hope that helps you out with the days on hand assignment, figuring out how to calculate days on hand and how to calculate how much inventory someone would actually need to match a better performing days on hand. I'm Dr. Cliff, and hope this helps.